Hi, I'm Kristi Simpson, an author, designer, and instructor. And in this knitting video tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to knit the very basic scarf. I will teach you how to cast on, how to knit, and how to bind off. So let's get started. To begin, you will need to get a medium weight yarn. I have used Line Brand Scarfie. You can get about 2 or 3 scarves when you knit with this yarn. And then you will need a US 13 9mm knitting needle. And I like to use the cable needle because then I can take and shove my work into the cable here instead of it just sliding off the needle. But that's just a preference. You can use any one that you would like, straight or cable. Okay, to begin with a slip knot, you're going to take your yarn and wrap it around your fingers like that. And make sure you have a long tail. So then you're going to take it off your fingers and you have a loop. Reach through the loop and grab the loose working tail here. Grab the tail and the working yarn and pull the loop tight. And then you can adjust it so that it will fit around your needle. For this cast on, it's very easy. So take and loop it around your thumb. And that's all that you have to do just to start this. So you're going to go from the outside here on your thumb, go under. And then take the needle and just scoop over that and come back around. And then pull it tight. So that's 1, which gives you 2 here because your slip knot does count as 1. So take it around your thumb. This is the very, very basic way to cast on. And you can look up different ways that will have a stretchier way, but this is a great way to learn so that you can get going and practicing your stitches. So go from the outside here, over the one on the inside, and back under. And then you can just come right back up with your thumb. So outside, over, pull it back under, and then pull it tight. And this is very basic, and you can get really fast at it. It's a good way just to practice how to hold your yarn and how to hold the needle. I'm going to do a few more and then we can count how many loops we have. Let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and this makes 15. When you have 15, this will make the width of your scarf. You can make it wider if you like, but once you get knitting, it will be about this wide, about 6 inches to 8 inches because it's going to be stretchy. So now that we have cast on, we are ready to move on to our first row of knitting. Now that we have our first row cast on, we're going to do the knit stitch. And this is the only stitch that you will do throughout the scarf. So it's a great way to practice, especially if you're a beginner. So here's your working yarn, and you have the cast on row in your left hand and the other needle in your right hand. Now I use a cable needle because I like to be able to push my work to the center if I have to set it down, but you can use single pointed needles if you need to or want to. If you have a favorite pair, that'll work. Okay, take your right needle, stick it here through like that, not like that, but to the back. Take your yarn and wrap it over the needle you just pushed through that loop, okay? Now if you see, you'll see that wrapped loop on the inside. So hold this yarn tight and pull it through. Okay, now you have a loop on the right one. Your loop on the left one comes off. Then you pull it tight. And then you're just going to repeat that. So in you go, wrap around, pull it through, and off the left needle. Take the right needle into the left, wrap it around. You see it's right there. And then off in one motion usually is the easiest. So wrap around, pull through. So you still have this one here, and off. If you work towards the end, it'll come off really easy. See, as you come through, just pull it off. Really simple. And the best way to make sure you have the same number is just to count at the end to make sure you have 15, and then you're good to go to the next row. If you're a beginner, I would recommend that you use a type of metal instead of a wooden, or at least a polished wooden needle, because that way it'll slide easier and won't get stuck. I learned that the hard way. Okay, now we're at the last one. And we're done. Now just to go back and check, make sure we didn't miss any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now all of the loops are in your right hand. Just switch places. Now you're ready to go again. For the second row, make sure whenever you put them in your left hand that all the loops are on the top. It may get twisted as you go, and that's okay. All you have to do is make sure that they're there on the top. Now whenever you twist it, make sure that your yarn goes to the back when you knit, because when you purl, it'll be in the front, just so you know. Now, same thing. Insert your needle, wrap around, and come through. Now, if you work with a variegated yarn, it's naturally going to change colors, and then you don't have to do any of the striping work yourself, and it looks pretty awesome. That's what I like about this scarfy yarn. It comes in a huge skein. You can get more than one project out of it, and then it looks great. So to finish out this row, all you will do is the same thing as we did on the first one. It's just knit, 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 knit. Now to complete the scarf, you will continue to knit each row until you can wrap it around your neck and it comes down to your waist. Or shorter if you want to have a smaller infinity scarf. Okay, so I finished with row 2. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to bind off in a loose way that's really, really easy, so that it does not cinch your work after you work so long to get it just right. Okay, it's really simple. Knit the first one. Okay, then take and place your needle there and put it back on. Then what you're going to do is slip your needle through the first 2, and it should be loose. Wrap around, do just a knit again, pull it up a little loose, and slip it back on. And as we go, that's all you're going to do is go through the first 2, knit it, and then put it back on. And see how it's taking those stitches off? Uh-oh, I lost it on there. Put it right back on there. And you'll just continue doing that. Go through 2. This is just for binding off. Knit through those and then put that stitch back on. See how we're binding those off? Just taking them off one at a time. There are lots of different ways to bind off, but this one is my favorite. Okay, we have one here, you see? I'm going to take out my needles at this time, and we have successfully taken all of our loops and turned it into one. And then what we're going to do is whenever you're finished with your entire scarf, cut a long length so that you can sew them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the end of that through this last loop and tighten it. Now, if you want to make it into an infinity scarf, once you have your scarf made, you'll have two ends, obviously. And then you'll just take your yarn needle and thread it, cut a long length, and then from there you'll just hold end to end like that, and then just whip stitch it together. Then it'll have a clean finish. And all that is just taking your yarn needle and basically wrapping it around the ends, and just do that evenly. See? And that last one I'll just go again. Snip a long length, and then you can take your yarn needle. I'll show you a little trick here. Thread it back through. See, I don't pull the length all the way through, and I'll just kind of knot it right there. And then you just weave in your ends so that they don't come out, and then they're hidden. And don't just weave it one way, weave it in one direction and then back the other, and that will help it from coming out completely. And snip it close. And then what you'll do the same with this end, just weave in those ends, and then you'll have a pretty join here. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial and that you will join me back here for many more.